Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Anna and I'm a little bit spooky, and today we're going to be going through my eyeshadow collection. We're going to go through every palette I own, look at them, touch them, organize them, and we're going to do kind of a declutter in the end, and we're going to go over why I'm keeping the ones I'm keeping, why I'm decluttering others. I just thought doing these collection videos would be kind of fun. My friend Donna does them and I love watching them, so it's like I need to get on this collection stuff because I am working on a huge declutter of this room, of my beauty stash, because it's kind of gotten out of hand. So if you're interested in seeing my entire eyeshadow collection, singles and palettes, just go ahead and keep on watching. But before you do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And let's get into this eyeshadow collection. Alright, let's get started going through these eyeshadow palettes and individual eyeshadows, the whole collection. I'm just gonna start pulling them and we'll just set them here and talk about them and figure out what we're gonna keep, what we're gonna get rid of. Okay? Okay. All my small like singles and just little bitty tiny palettes in this container here I keep in my cabinet behind me. I'm not a big fan of single eyeshadows, so I don't have like a ton of them. There's a few random ones floating in here and just some little bitty palettes. Let's just jump in and grab what's on top. Some stuff I may talk in detail about, some stuff I may speed through, and in the video we'll go over what I'm actually gonna declutter in the end. But on top are just some little Wet n Wild palettes. I got these on clearance, obviously at Walmart. These are from their Zodiac collection. I thought they were pretty, so I wanted to pick them up and play with them. Have I done anything more than swatch them? No. Just kind of forgot they existed. So there's the two of them. I think this is Earth and Fire. I think I'm gonna keep Earth because I do like this green shade right there. But Fire, I think I have dupes or multiples of shades just like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass that one on. This is a little single of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Warm Taupe. I used to use this in my brows back when I had blonde hair, and it was kind of a really good brow shade for me. Also, it's just an absolutely beautiful transition shade, and I was starting to hit pan in the Modern Renaissance palette, so I just went ahead and grabbed a mini a couple of years ago and have not really reached for it since. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it because it's just a really nice transition shade. This is a little mini Urban Decay eyeshadow. I don't even know what shade it is, like Fireball or something like that. It's just one of those really typical corally pink shifting violet flash duochromes. Nothing exciting. Have it a million times over in palettes and also in the Wet n Wild, so I'm going to go ahead and pass that along because it has not been used. Two of these color tattoos from what is this, Maybelline. I think they're 24-hour color tattoo thingies. I have a creamy beige, which cracks me up because of Mole Greg. Creamy beige. And yeah, it's just a creamy beige shade. This is basically dried out and kind of chunky or lumpy at this point, so I don't see myself using it. And I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. And I don't know if they even make this anymore. This is from their leather collection they did, but I've literally not reached for this in probably 4 years. And I also have it in the shade Vintage Plum, which is just a really cool tone plum shade. It is also very pretty and still in pretty good condition. Barely used it. We have a little L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow here. This is in, what are you in? Eternal Sunshine. These are so pretty and such a neat little formula. Kind of a squishy, weird formula. Very nice. Very beautiful gold. My sister got me this one because she knows I like gold eyeshadow. So I will be keeping this because it is just a nice, good little gold to reach for. And it's a really nice formula. Natasha Denona Mini Lila palette, keeping. Elf Bite Size and Truffle, keeping. I love these shades. It's just a little Nomad Cosmetics. I think that's what they're called, Nomad Cosmetics. This is the shade Marrakesh Spice. It's from their Spice Market collection. This is a beautiful, cranberry shimmer right here. Just a really pretty, kind of nice, warm, and a reddish brown, a little bit cranberry. It's another one of those products I just really don't need. I don't need the, I have this shade about a million times over. I think this came in an Ipsy. Little Meat Matte Matrimony sample here from Ipsy as well. This is just the really pretty deep matte cranberry color. I do love this little eyeshadow, but again, how long have I had this and not used it? Way too long. Got it in palettes. a shade just like this, so I really just don't need it. This is from the Kat Von D or KVD Beauty Serpentina palette back in the day. I do have the Serpentina palette on my shelf just because it's pretty, but I don't really use it. But this was the pigment in it, and this is a really cool, weird goldish green, so I am going to keep that because it's incredibly unique, and I really enjoy it. This is a Makeup Forever little single. I think these were called like their diamond eyeshadows or something. It's really shimmery matte, like a sequin formula. I've had this for, again, like 5 years and have not touched it. It doesn't really, I think, perform that well when I have tried to play with it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let that go because I never use it. I don't really care for that formula that much. This little mini full exposure eyeshadow palette. This came in Ipsy from Smashbox. So I can get open. Just a little champagne gold and a matte. I don't see getting much use out of this, and I don't think I ever did. Like, I can't even barely see it on my hand. So yeah, it's a cute sample size. Like, I think that's adorable, just not the best shades. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass that on. 2 Super Shock shadows, which will be staying because they are still in good condition. I've checked them the other day, or played with them the other day. But we have a nice cranberry red right there. This one is called Paradox. I like Paradox a lot. It's just a good kind of blood red. And then we have Beverly, which is a matte, I believe. Yeah, matte, just, yeah, these are still like perfectly creamy. Just a deeper kind of burgundy shade. Both these Super Shock shadows will be staying with me until they die. And next we have a little eyeshadow from a brand called Montecito. This was one of the first ever PR products I ever got. And this is again, another reddish cranberry. You can tell I like that kind of shade. Have I used it ever or in a million years? No. Again, got it a million times over, so I'm going to go ahead and let that go. And I'm just not big on a single eyeshadow palette. Single eyeshadows anyway. So what we're keeping is Natasha Denona e.l.f. Bite Size, the L'Oreal Infallible in Eternal Sunshine, Warm Taupe, and this one little Wet n Wild Earth because I like the green in it. And I may play with it one day. Little NYX Loose Pigment, the KVD Loose Pigment, and the 2 Super Shock shadows. I have some more little small eyeshadows here. Our smaller palettes, a lot of drugstore ones, so I'm going to go ahead and get through those. This on top actually was in this container, and I don't know why it's not, but this is a Maybelline Eye Studio from God knows how long ago. I was just so obsessed with these colors together, this olive, khaki green, and this gold. I was obsessed, and it's kind of like a baked formula. This was a beautiful product. I mean, I was in love. This was my go-to for like a good year and a half or more. Yeah, those 2 colors, especially when I had red hair, they were like my everything. I don't know how old this thing is because I sure don't even remember seeing these on the shelf. That's how old it is. But I'm going to go ahead and let that go. Even though it like looks pretty, it's just, do I need that? No, I don't need it. It's old. Let's let it go. Try to be rather cutthroat with myself. Do we need it? Do we need it? Do we want it? No, if we don't, it's got to go. Something else I haven't reached for in a long time. This is a Wet n Wild limited edition called Velour Vixen. This is from a fall collection. I know for a fact like 5 years ago. It was when the gold bar highlighter came out from them. Beautiful little palette. I like it a lot. When's the last time I've used it is the question. Probably not since I bought it. I think I used it like twice. So I have these shades a million times over. Don't need it. In a discontinued limited edition tiny palette from Wet n Wild. Okay, ooh, speaking of Wet n Wild, we got a little chunk of Wet n Wild right here. Rebel Rose collection from Wet n Wild. I actually have doubles of this one and the 3 eyeshadow palettes. I'm going to keep one of each, and I'm going to let the double that I have used go, which is this one. Or, no, that I haven't used go, maybe. Yeah. I haven't used that one. That one's brand new. So I'm going to let one of them go and keep one because I really like this in collection. Even though these eyeshadows did not perform the best, they were fun. And there was something, I don't know, just kind of special about them. These 2 are fairly, well, this one's new to my collection. This one I've had for about a year and absolutely love. This is my Glamour Squad. This is a dupe of the ABH Soft Glam. Fantastic little palette. Will be keeping. I have used that a lot. And then this is Nude Awakening, which is just some nice nude, cooler tone shades. I've created a couple looks with this and actually really enjoyed it, so I will be hanging on to it as well. I really like these Color Icon palettes. I think they're excellent quality. And for the price, you kind of can't beat that. So I'm going to hang on to those. And then I have one of the older ones, which is, what are we, Comfort Zone. I know they have a new version of this, which I'm going to probably pick up and go ahead and let this one go because it is rather old. But this is, of course, the green earthy color story, which is absolutely beautiful. I love it. So I do want to get the updated version of it and go ahead and let this one go. This is a new one from LA Girl I just picked up, or just received from LA Girl. The shimmers in this are absolutely amazing. So I'm going to hang on to this one just because I absolutely love the shimmers. Honey, keeping, obviously, that's not going anywhere. You know I'm keeping that yellow eyeshadow palette. This one's more nostalgia. Reason we're keeping her. This is the Pulp Fiction palette. This is one of my first Urban Decay products I ever got. It's just Pulp Fiction themed. I mean, come on. Very nice, just simple palette. I actually used this last year just for a throwback look, or I shot my stash where I was using like my oldest stuff in my collection. This is a really cool palette. It's mostly just nostalgia collector's item that I'm keeping it for at this point. Smaller palettes are gonna go in that same little basket. Elf Glitter Goals and Intergalactic, I think this is called, or Galactica. Just really unique glitter tones. Like, how often do you see like these kind of fall neutrals and glitters? Rarely. So I'm keeping that because I actually really love this. This one I'm also keeping just for the sake of nostalgia. This is the Peanut Butter and Honey from Too Faced. Shitty palette, honestly. Not a great palette. The quality is very, it leaves a lot to be desired. They just blew it on this one. It doesn't even smell anymore, that's all it is, but yeah, I'm only keeping it just because of its nostalgia thing, because it was my first honey themed palette, and it's staying around just because of that, and I think it's really cute. Will I ever use it again? Probably not, but just something about it, I kind of can't let it go. Another little glitter palette from Wet n Wild. I'm gonna let this go, it just kind of sucks. It's just basically petroleum jelly with glitter in it. These two from ABH I picked up not too long ago and have yet to really use. I just haven't used them yet. This one is the, volume 3 mini. Love the colors in here. I do have a look planned with this palette. I just haven't really gotten around to filming it. And of course I love the whole aesthetic of this one. And these colors are gorgeous. This would actually be a pretty decent fall palette, like for like a pop during the fall. This would be one to go for. I'm gonna keep it and eventually play with it. I'm gonna keep all of these because I know I really like them. We got Mauve Obsession, Warm Brown Obsession, Emerald Obsession, Electric Obsession, Smoky Obsession. This one, the black is sadly gone, but I still like the palette. And we got the Green Neon. I really want to get some more of those. I love those little palettes. I think they're so good, so I would love to get the Khaki Haze, the nude ones. I think there's a couple other that I really wanted as well. Sassy Sienna's great palette from Dose of Color. Keeping two little Urban Decay guys here. These are the On the Run minis. I really enjoy these little guys. Just nice curated color stories. Of course, green, you know, I love greens. So that one, keeping. This one, beautiful reddy warm tones, and then this really unique kind of a charcoal shimmery gray, but it has like a pink in it. It's really an odd shade and I really like that. So I'm keeping this one, and we got this really pretty copper right here. This one is actually beautiful for like little everyday looks on top of like super glam looks. And you got the shade Gash, which is a gorgeous like blood red. I have the KVD Beauty Lolita palette. Anyway, this was the Lolita palette. This color story is just phenomenal to me. I think it's beautiful. And the quality was amazing on this one, so I am keeping it. And then I have the Sheets and Parties from Melt. We all know I love this one. My kind of colors, right? Look at those. Yes. And the whole aesthetic theme of this palette is everything. So definitely keeping those two. I love those plummy mauve tones in those palettes. Another one from KVD Beauty that I don't use, but I'm keeping mostly because of nostalgic reasons. I have really good memories of when I got this palette. It was a really good Christmas with my family, and it just makes me think of sitting around. We would get ready and we were playing with this palette a lot, and I'm keeping it based on that solely. And I think you get a really cool selection of mattes in here. There may be an occasion that I want one of these matte shades and the shimmers are pretty, so I'm keeping it strictly because of that. It's just sentimental. I think that's okay to keep a palette just because it's sentimental. Next we have Morphe Boss Mood. This is a very well loved palette. I'm not a huge Morphe fan. I know I use their brushes a lot because I have one of the brush collections and I enjoy the brushes, but I'm not a big fan of their makeup very often. But something about this color story just I mean, if I was going to design a palette, it would look like this. They nailed it. I think the only thing I would do different is put some yellows in here. So this is basically anything, every color I could want in a palette, so therefore I am keeping it. But I'm not really going to continue purchasing these types of palettes from Morphe just because I don't know, I don't need them. I've kind of lost interest in them and in them as a brand as well, but I really enjoy this one palette, so it will be staying in my collection. Melt Gemini, of course, an absolute favorite, definitely staying. Huda Mercury Retrograde, keeping for sure. One of the most beautiful palettes, beautiful for spring. Love the color story, love the formulas in here, the shimmers, everything about this palette is something that I love and I'm keeping it. First time I ever loved a blue eyeshadow is this one right here. I think the only shade in here I have not touched is this one, and probably whatever will, because I hate that shade so much. But I love everything else about this. Love it. Desert Dusk was the first Huda palette I ever picked up and fell in love with the formula, oddly, of the mattes. The shimmers in here, not the best. I love this glitter. I will say that. And I love this color story so much. I think it's absolutely beautiful. However, you do have to use a glitter glue if you want these shimmers to do anything. But the mattes were so gorgeous in this palette. I just really love the shade Cashmere. Like, some of them, they're very unique, very nuanced, and that's the one thing I do enjoy about Huda's shadows, is that they are more than what meets the eye. You look at it, you kind of think, whatever. And then you swatch it, touch it, and look at it, and you're like, oh my god, that's so complex and beautiful. And yeah, this is one of my favorite palettes and probably always will be. We have the Too Faced Chocolate Gold, one of my absolute favorite palettes quality-wise. Stunning. The shades are stunning. I mean, look at that. I love this palette so much, and I got this as a bridesmaid's gift from my friend Chandra, who got me the Hocus Pocus stuff. Yeah. The girl knows me too well. She knows what kind of colors I like, and I love jewel tones. And basically this palette has anything. If I want a glam look, this is the palette I'm going for. It's beautiful, it smells really nice, and I mean, chocolate gold, I love gold, so. And I really need to play with this more because these shades are so gorgeous. This is definitely, to me, a good holiday season palette with these colors. New Year's Eve, I mean, I think the packaging is beautiful. I love this gold drip going down it. Very cool, very, very fun. And I'm not like the biggest Too Faced fan. A lot of times I think they're a little bit tacky. But every now and then they come out with a product that's just really good. This being one of them. Jumping over to Urban Decay, I have 3 Naked palettes. My 3 favorites here. I did have Naked Cherry, but that one actually belonged to Chandra and I was just playing with it. So we have Naked 3, Naked 2, and Naked Honey. I'm keeping all 3 of these, even though I probably haven't reached for Naked 2 in forever. It's a gorgeous palette, and does it not look like the Natasha Denona new one? I feel like I totally forgot about it, even though it is super old. I feel like it's just a classic that if you like cool tone eyeshadows, why would you not have Naked 2? We all know what Naked 3 looks like. I remember the hype around this guy and the struggle to get this palette. Oh my god, this is the first time that it was like I ever experienced palettes selling out and just this madness to get one. Waiting in line like outside Sephora. It took me months to get my hands on this guy. And I finally, I think, got it for like Valentine's Day or something, and just, I loved it so hard. And I still love it. Like, this shade Blackheart is just damn good. This is a beautiful palette, and if you really like cool tones and rose golds, you can't beat Naked 3. I think Naked Cherry might be kind of the more modern version of Naked 3. There's a little bit of similarity. I think they could play well together. And of course, we all know how I feel about Naked Honey. Do we even need to talk about this? I don't think we do. I love this palette. Okay, I've got KVD Monarch palette. This is a oldie but a goodie. Keeping this one also out of nostalgia. This was one of my first warm tone palettes that had a shade like this in it, and I was just obsessed. I used the hell out of this palette. I used this palette on my wedding day, and that's why I'm keeping it. It's just very special to me. I think this may have been my first KVD palette, in fact. But I remember distinctly using these shimmers on my wedding day and just loving this palette so much for so long. And it being like one of my go-to fall palettes for years. So I'm keeping it just purely out of nostalgia. Milani Salt and Pepper palette. You know, I love this one too. I love these warm tones. I think this palette is so cute. This was such a awesome collaboration. And these colors are gorgeous. This to me is a really pretty summer palette going into fall palette. Gonna keep it for sure. Love this highlight shade. Love all these shades. The formula is really nice. It's a very unique palette. Even though it may not look that exciting in the pan, in person, it is stunning. 3 from Too Faced. Back when they did the Paris theme collection. I was really into this collection. I thought it was so damn cute, and I had all the pieces to the collection. Still do. And I think, yeah, Chandra actually got me these as a wedding present. That's what it was. She got me this because these came out, I think, right before I got married, or because I got married in November. So yeah, they came out around that same time of year. So she had ordered me these. These had been sold out like everywhere at the time. This was back when the Too Faced Christmas launches were actually something people cared about. And anyway, yeah, we've got this really pretty purple one. I like this one. I think it's so pretty, and I'm still going to keep it purely for sentimental reasons. And, you know, I might reach for some of these shades. Is the quality outstanding on this? Not really. I've definitely used better eyeshadows since this. But when I got this, I thought this was like awesome. And then I've tried other Too Faced shadows since and be like, what is this crap they were peddling? But no, this is actually, I like it. I'm keeping it. It's special to me, so it's going to stay around. I think their collection this year is really cute with the animals. If the quality, you know, was not so hit or miss with their holiday collections, I would be down for them. But to me, they feel a little bit pointless to purchase because I'm going to use them for like one season and be done with it. I'm not going to reach for them after Christmas probably. Who cares in a couple months about these palettes, in my personal opinion. This one I like a lot. I love this blush shade, Mademoiselle. This is one of my favorite blushes, really, and I forget this palette exists. I love this shade Wee right here. It's so pretty. It's, you know, glittery sequin. This is just a really nice, neutral but glam palette, and I really love this one. And man, I miss it. I need to just play with it. It's very nostalgic, but this was one of my favorite blushes. I remember just thinking I was so fancy when I got these, man. I thought I was something else. This one I am going to pass on because I just have no use for these shades. Obviously haven't used them. This bronzer is just not going to work for me at any stretch of the imagination. This is just an incredibly shimmery bronzer. So yeah, this one I'm going to go ahead and pass on. It's funny how our expectations and stuff change. Like, I just remember being so excited about that collection when it came out. And the big palette with it. I still have the packaging that looks like kind of like a dollhouse. I still have that in my closet just because it's so special to me. I used to have it out in my office. Oh, okay, 2 palettes from Tarte. I think I had bought these a million years ago from a friends and family sale. And they're just very nice neutral palettes. Tarte's, you know, pretty steady formula most of the time. These performed well. They were nice. They're just really boring, and like I'm never gonna use these. As you can see, they're barely used. I feel really bad. But I think somebody could definitely love these a lot and give them a nice home. Even though they're older, they still are basically brand new and they look great. Like, these colors are really pretty. They're just not really for me and where I'm at in my current tastes in makeup. I'm gonna go ahead and let those go. Venus Immortalis, obviously, for keeping. This is gorgeous. This is absolutely stunning. I love this palette so much. ColourPop Misunderstood, obviously. Keeping her. We love her. Gather Round Sisters Hocus Pocus palette. ColourPop. Yeah, we're keeping that one. Through My Eyes. I Love Sari. And ColourPop. Definitely a keeper. This is the Tarte Pro palette. Tartist Pro palette. I do believe it was pronounced Tartist, not Tartiest or Tartiste. I think it's Tartist, like artist. Take the T off. It's artist. All right. That's my thinking around it. As in, like, makeup artist. This is still one of the best matte eyeshadow palettes in existence, in my opinion. The quality is there. The shade range is beautiful. The quality is beautiful. The pigmentation, the depth of these shades, richness, it's all there. This to me is almost a must-have palette in a collection. You get the 4 shimmers, they're great, whatever. It's the mattes in this that really just blow it out of the water. This, when I was freelancing, this was the palette I went for. Bridal, this was the palette. Glam, this was the palette. Like, I could do everything with this one. I loved it so much. I sterilized it so many times. This is from all like alcohol being sprayed on it and sterilizing. That's why it looks so damn beat up, is because I cleaned it so much, because it was such a go-to, constant use for me. And like right here, you see I set a ball of acetone on it, melted the top. I really would love to see some more expansions on this collection because I think the quality of this was beautiful. They did the remix palette that was a little more colorful, a little more shimmers. Didn't have much interest in that one in particular, but this one, this is just a fantastic little palette right here, and I'm gonna hang on to it. Maybe even replace it one day. I don't know. It to me performed unlike any other Tarte eyeshadow palette, in my opinion. Vice 2 palette, Vice 3 palette. These remind me of such a happy time in the beauty community when the Vice palette was just the thing. It was the end all be all. It's what you looked forward to every Christmas was this palette. Oh, they were so fun. You got such a cool, unique mixture of shades. This one I thought was particularly beautiful because it reminded me a lot of a palette my mom had when I was a kid. That was, I think, a Merle Norman palette. But it has this really cool hydraulic open business going on. The shades in here were just gorgeous and so fun. I still could probably create an amazing look from this palette right here. It's a little disjointed, it's a little crazy, but I loved it. It really was, to me, these were where the big palettes began. This is my first one, and I think this may have been my first Urban Decay purchase, probably after that Pulp Fiction palette, but this was my real introduction to Urban Decay and really kind of getting creative with makeup, using something beyond neutrals and black eyeshadow. Yeah, I was introduced to so many different colors and fun with this one. And that's when I really started like actually putting pictures on Instagram with makeup and stuff. This is where it started right here, was the Vice 2 palette for me. I remember watching Cora Diane finish her tacky, a tutorial with this palette, and I thought I need that palette, and I ran out and bought it. And have absolutely loved it. And just so well loved. Just a very special place in my little makeup heart. And of course the Vice 3, gorgeous. I had so much fun with this palette. These colors were fantastic. This row right here, I mean, can't beat it. I love these cool tones over here. I had so much fun with this guy. And I'm gonna keep it because I love it. And you know what? I think it'd be fun to pull this out for a video every now and then. I know it's super old and I don't care. It's my makeup. I'm not using it on anyone else but myself. Okay, here's the first thing I ever got from Tarte right here. One of their holiday gift sets, and it came with this palette, and I was just so over the moon. Oh, thinking I was so fancy. Quite boring, really, when I look at it, but I thought it was something else back when I got it. Dude, I thought I was hot shit. I loved this little quadrant over here so much, and this one. This was my like glam corner. This is my everyday corner. This is when if I was in a purple mood. I used the shit out of this palette. And I even dipped into the blue. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it purely out of nostalgia because this was also reminds me of a really nice time of makeup. Again, I think I got this around the same time I got Vice 2. This was my entry palette into this world of beauty, and watched, you know, how this community has grown and everything, and have become a part of it myself. It's right here. It started with these Vice 2 and this shitty Tarte palette, which actually isn't shitty. It's actually it was really good quality for a holiday gift set. I think they were at one point pretty good quality, and they just went downhill at some point or another. Loved it, and it was just keeping it. Shut up. Another nostalgia one. It's that same Too Faced collection that Christmas about 5 years ago. This one, oh my god, I used so much. I used to actually bring this on jobs with me when I freelanced a lot back in the day before I had really grown my collection, because there's such a good variety in here. Like when I was first starting, I still love these blushes in here, and this highlight's so nice. You got, you know, satin sheets up here. Majority of this palette was really good quality in my opinion, even compared to now, aside from like 2 shades were total duds. And they look a little worse for wear. Like they don't look quite as good as they used to, but I'm keeping it because of the nostalgia factor of it and because it was special. You know, it had the beautiful Parisian theme, and I was just really excited about this collection when it came out, and man, things have changed. So I keep these things just as reminders of how simple it used to be in the beauty community. Sungus palette from Profusion. I really enjoyed this palette. The quality is fantastic. I love this green row right here. Debating on keeping this one because at the same time, like, I don't really need it. I really don't need it. You know what? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pass this on. I don't need this. I don't. I've used it twice, if that. I've used this row, okay? Like, I've not reached for it since. It doesn't really excite me beyond the one row, so I'm gonna pass it on. I think somebody else can love this palette more than me. It was fun. I reviewed it. It was one of my first videos to actually get like a decent amount of views on it, so it's special because of that. But then again, I just really don't need it, man. I don't. Yeah, okay, we're finished. We're on the last pile. These are my ABH palettes. I'm not a fan of ABH's marketing tactics these days. Ever since they did that PR search business, I just felt like it was just about making money. They didn't care to me. It felt the PR search was good PR for them. That's what it was, marketing. They were selling, it was to sell us the Riviera palette. And, you know, we all bust our asses trying to get on that list. And I just feel like an idiot for it, honestly. Like, I feel like I get taken for a fool a little bit. I'm just not a huge fan of their pushing the large quantities of product they did last year. Something was going on weird behind the scenes, and I have not cared about a launch they've put out since the Jackie Aina palette, to be honest with you. Just no interest, have not cared. But anyway, here's Riviera. I'm going to keep it because this is part of my little collection here. And I did enjoy this palette, and if I do want some of these vibrant tones, I know I have them. I mean, I do really enjoy the quality of their eyeshadows. But yeah, Riviera, I'm not a fan of the whole aesthetic or anything right here. But I just thought the shades were fun, and I looked at it and I thought, you know, I could do some fun looks with this. Probably used it 5 times. Not my favorite. Just, it's not the kind of color story I gravitate towards. I don't really care about bright colors. Never have, probably never will. But occasionally, I do like a cyberpunk look or something like that, and this palette has come in handy with these pressed pigments here. And the shimmers are gorgeous. I mean, it's pretty. It's just, it's not a palette I get like super excited about, right? I'm keeping it because it reminds me not to be an idiot and fall for marketing ploys. The Jackie Aina palette. This palette, I think, did not get the attention it deserved by any means. This is a beautiful, beautiful palette. This is one of my top 5 favorite palettes. The color story is here. The richness of the shadows, just everything about it is beautiful. Jackie did an outstanding job on this palette, and to just been swept away with a barrage of launches fucking sucked for her, and it hurts my feelings for her. But this palette is gorgeous. I would repurchase in a heartbeat if I hit pan. It's just a fantastic palette. Another one that I really wasn't that into was a Carly Bible palette. I picked it up because it was on sale, and I know I like their quality. I swatched it in person pre-COVID in store, and it swatched so beautifully. And you know, looking at it now, I think, yeah, I like these shades. I do. That being said, I still think it is a pretty palette. I'm going to use it. I have it. I really enjoyed the tones in here on my skin tone. And I think the looks I have created with it, I've loved. But when I look at it, I just wasn't feeling very inspired. I think this is a nice palette from closer, more like to springtime. But yeah, it's just kind of soft, romantic, a little boring. But I like the Stev shade. I absolutely love OA. That is one of the best shades in the palette. I did a tutorial with it some time ago. It was one of my favorite little looks, even though I kind of hated it at first. I still have yet to use these 2 shades, so I do need to reach for this and play with it and just create some looks just to do it. Just because I have it, why not? Subculture. Good old subculture. I are one of the few who defended subculture to death and will still defend subculture. I enjoyed every look I've done with this palette. I didn't have any problems with it. I got it to work for me just fine. This is the kind of product eyeshadows I enjoy. I love these murky, ugly, pretty colors. This palette I was so excited for. So excited. I don't know if I happen to get a good one or what. You know, did they change the formula? Did they tweak some stuff? I'm not sure because I didn't get it right off the bat. I enjoyed this palette. Had 0 issues with it. Yeah, it's got fallout, but all the ABH palettes got fallout. Obviously, some of these colors just do not work together, and they're going to get muddy. But I don't know. I didn't have the problems that a lot of people seem to have had with it, and I love it. I love everything about this palette. This is my kind of color story right here. This is the kind of palette, if I see, I get excited. So Subculture is going to stay, hands down. And we have Norvina palette. This palette is so well loved. Look at this. Oh my goodness, it is so well loved. I still absolutely love this palette. When I look at it, I just feel warm and fuzzy. These colors just are beautiful to me. All of them, I just really don't like Soul. That's the only color I don't care about. I just don't like that tone. But all these other shades, God, I love them so much. I love the shade Passion. The browns in here are gorgeous. The rose golds. Just everything about this palette I think is beautiful. I think it's a very romantic palette. It's beautiful for Valentine's Day. And yeah, I loved this palette so much, and I still love it, and will always reach for it probably and keep it. And lastly, we have the classic, the one that started all here, Modern Renaissance. Well loved. Well loved. Hit pan. This is just such a romantic, beautiful palette. I loved the inspiration behind the palette, the reasoning behind it, the colors, the names of the shades, about it being, you know, based in art and about like the Renaissance era art, you know. You have shades named after actual colors of paint and references to fine arts. And I don't know, I absolutely love it. I still love it. I think it's beautiful. I will, again, always keep it in my collection. Red Ochre is one of my favorite shades. It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. And you know what? I'm going to play with it one day, because this is a gorgeous fall palette. It's probably been one of my fall palette collections, you know, suggestion, edits, whatever, a million times over. I don't know. It holds a special place because it reminds me of that excitement of new palette launches. It reminds me of being excited, which I just don't really feel anymore. I think I've gotten excited about a couple of things this last year. Melt Royal Blush Collection, Sigma and Tame palette I got excited about. Hocus Pocus. There's been, you know, very, very few launches these days, though, that really get my attention anymore and excite me, simply because of the oversaturation of the market. It's just too much. It's too much. I don't care, you know? But this just reminds me of a time when one palette was the palette for at least a year, and we didn't throw it aside 2 weeks later like we do now. That's why I feel like it looks like palettes come out so often right now that you do one video with it, you're fucking done with it. You like, it doesn't matter anymore. It's not relevant. It's a waste. It's an absolute waste. So that is why part of this declutter is, in going through my collection, is paring down and seeing what I do care about, what I love. Because I've decided I'm only going to buy palettes that I truly want and am excited about, not just to review them or talk about them because they're the popular trending thing at the moment. I'm only going to buy product that I want and truly feel drawn to. I'm not, and it's simple as that. I'm not going to waste money on stuff just to put it in a video and hope to get views. I'm going to feature makeup products that I personally truly enjoy and truly love. And if it comes into my collection via PR or, you know, through a company or whatever, that's one thing. But okay, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So what are we getting rid of? We're getting rid of some cheapies, some Wet n Wild palettes, older ones. Getting rid of some old Maybellines, some little sample products. Yeah, mostly little small things, samples, old stuff that either I have so many dupes of or I'm just not into it, haven't touched it since I got it kind of thing. So dramatic talking about this. I know, it's just makeup and it is not that big a deal, but at the same time, it is. That is what I'm decluttering here, and that is my eyeshadow palette collection and my TED Talk on consumerism and why I'm only buying things I love. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe and stay spooky, and bye now.